Hey guys, Scott here. In this video, I want to look at how to install WordPress manually. Now, if you're not that good with computers and you want to find an easier way to install WordPress, even though this way is not that hard, you can go to this link here that says install WordPress using Fantastico. Fantastico is an automated script installer, so it basically installs WordPress for you. So if you want to check out that tutorial, just click that link there. But we're going to learn how to install WordPress manually in this video. Okay, so if we scroll down a bit, you'll see there's a requirements section here. And it says you'll need an FTP client to upload the installation files for WordPress. And you'll also need to be able to create MySQL databases and users. I'll show you in this video how to quickly do those. But if you get stuck in the video and you don't understand what I'm doing for either one of these steps, you can check out the individual tutorials for those by clicking the links here. And then you'll see a step-by-step guide here, or a step-by-step. These are the instructions that WordPress give you for installing WordPress. In this video, I'll go through each step and explain how to do every step. Now note here that the above may slightly change from version to version. So if there's a later version out after I've made this video, these steps may slightly change. But this video will still help a lot because the steps will basically be the same, but there may be a few different alterations in this guide here. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is download WordPress. So to do that, come to step 1 here and click download page here. So just click that link and this will load the WordPress download page. Okay, so to download WordPress, we want to look at this section here. And you'll see it says download WordPress 3.0.1. Now, when you're downloading WordPress, this will probably be in your version. Might be 3.2 or 3 point something or even 4, depending on when you download it. So you can either click the link to download it, but what we want to do is right click it and click Save Link As. This way we can choose where we want the installation files to be saved to. So I'm going to save mine straight to the desktop. So just click Desktop here and click Save. And you'll see it's downloading here. Depending on your browser, the download will be displayed differently. This is Google Chrome, so the download's being displayed in the bottom here. Okay, so that's downloaded. And because we saved it to the desktop, I'm just going to minimize this now. And you can see that our files for WordPress were saved here. So what we want to do is extract these files to the desktop as well. And you can either double click on this. Depending on the program you have installed for extracting files, this may look different. But all you want to do is open this folder here. This is the standard Windows XP way of extracting files. And you can either drag this, click and drag this folder to the desktop. Or you can right click, copy, right click, paste. Or you can also just right click on the zipped file for WordPress that you downloaded and click extract all. And it'll take you through a wizard of how to extract those. And I just want to leave it set to go to the desktop. So just go next, and now it'll extract those files for me. Like I said before, it'll be different for you if you're using an extra program for extracting files. But no matter what program you're using, you should be able to right click it and go extract files, extract all, or extract something. It'll sound something like that. Okay, so that's finished extracting, and I can see that they're extracted to the desktop there. So I'm just going to untick show extracted files here. If you leave that ticked, it'll show you the files, but I can see it on the desktop, so I'm just going to untick that and click finish. So now here are the extracted files. So you want to open this folder, and then there'll be the WordPress folder, which will have all the installation files in it. So we want to open that as well. And the first thing you want to do is ignore all the files and simply open the README. There'll be a README file, just double click that. So this will be the installation steps given to you by WordPress. You can read through this whole page if you want, but all we're interested in now is this installation, the famous 5-minute install for WordPress, and these 5 steps here. So step 1 was unzip the package in an empty directory and upload everything. Okay, so we've unzipped it in an empty directory to the desktop. Now we need to upload all the files to your website. Okay, so we need to upload all these files to the section on your website that you want to install this blog to, or this WordPress installation to. So open your FTP client. I'm going to be using FileZilla. If you want to learn how to use FileZilla, there's a tutorial on it on my site. You can either click here, FTP client for uploading files. That'll link to the FileZilla tutorial. Or you can go to Tools, FTP clients, how to use FileZilla. So I'll minimize that again. Okay, so when you're in FileZilla, the first thing you need to do is log into your website. So enter the details here. It'll be ftp.yoursite.com, the username for your FTP account. If you don't have an FTP account, you can learn how to make one through cPanel by going to creating here, cPanel, set up FTP accounts. Now, if your website hosting account doesn't use cPanel, still check out that tutorial because most hosting accounts have a similar process to setting up FTP accounts, and that should help you. If you still can't figure out how to set up an FTP account, just contact your website hosting company and ask them how to do it. They'll tell you. So put the details for your FTP account up the top here, the username, and now the password. Depending on your website hosting company, the port may change, but the default port FileZilla uses is 21. And with like HostGator and most hosting companies, that will be 21 also. So just leave this blank unless you know it is not 21. Okay, so once you've entered those in, click Quick Connect here, and that should connect to your website. Okay, so from here you can see this side here on the left are the files on your computer, and then the side here on the right are the files on your website. Now this FTP account has access straight to all my website hosting files, and you'll see I've got .cpanel, .fantastico. You'll see there's a list of all random folders. So what I want to do is upload WordPress, the installation files for WordPress, to my site. So you want to scroll down until you see the public_HTML folder. Now for most of you, it will be the public_HTML folder that holds all your website files. But if you can't find a public HTML folder, it might be called htdocs or www or something similar like that. And if you can't find any of those, you can contact your hosting company and ask them where your website files are stored. But most hosting companies do use public_HTML. So just find that and open that. So double click. And this will load all the files for yoursite.com. For me, there's a list here because I have Joomla installed to here, straight to mysite.com. If this is a new website for you, then there'll be maybe 1 or 2 files here, and that's all. So if you want to install WordPress straight to yoursite.com, you'd paste those installation files here or copy them to this location here. But because I've got Joomla installed and I want to add my blog to mysite.com/blog, I need to upload the files into a folder here called blog. So all I do now is right click and click create directory. And you'll see here it says /public HTML, meaning straight into mywebsite.com. So that's all my files from my website. And now I enter a new directory. For this, I'm going to name it blog, because then it'll be mysite.com/blog, which is what I want. So click OK. And you'll see blogs put right there. So now what I want to do is upload my files into this directory here. Now, if you wanted to put it to yoursite.com only and you want your website to be a blog, you would upload them straight to public HTML. But I want mine in the directory /blog. And you can tell which directory is active by here. That says remote site. You see it says public HTML blog. So that's the folder I'm in. So now what we need to do is locate the WordPress installation files on this side. So if I scroll up there, I can click desktop and I can click here. Now you'll see these look the same, but the one that says .zip is the zip folder. So you don't want to go into that one. You want to go into the folder here and then open that again. Now what we want to do is upload all these files to your website. There's a few ways you can do this. You can click on the first file. So click up the top here on WP admin. Now scroll to the bottom of the page or bottom of this list. Now if you hold shift on your keyboard and click on the bottom file, it'll select all of them. So you see they're all selected. So now you can either right click and click upload. And then that'll upload all the files to your current directory, which you can see by here. Or you can just simply drag those across and release. And you'll see them going to queue here, and queued files is 756. So that'll start copying those to my website. Now it's important that you make sure this directory here is the one you want your WordPress site installed to. So if you get this wrong, WordPress will be in the wrong spot. So make sure it's in the folder you want it to be sent to. And now we just wait for those files to upload. Okay, so now that those files are finished uploading, we come back to the steps here from WordPress. And we can see that we've unzipped the package to an empty directory and we've uploaded the files, or uploaded everything. So now, step 2, it wants us to open wp-admin/install. And it says it will take you through the process to set up wp-config.php file with your database connection details. Then it says if for some reason this doesn't work, to open up wp-config-sample.php with the text editor and enter the details, all the database connection details that way. And then save that file as wp-config.php and then upload that. I'll do this both ways to show you how to do it the first way. And then in case that doesn't work, I'll also show you how to do it by editing the file. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is go to wp-admin/install.php. So open up in your browser a new page, type in yoursite.com. Now if you installed WordPress straight to yoursite.com, what you do now is type in /wp-admin.php, or sorry, wp-admin/install.php. But because I installed mine into the directory blog, I want to type in blog there and then /wp-admin/install.php. So you just put this wp-admin/install.php on the end of wherever you uploaded your WordPress files to, and then press enter. Okay, so now it's telling us that there doesn't seem to be a w-config.php file. That's because we didn't make one, because that's for step 2. If this process we're doing now doesn't work, we have to make the file ourselves. But you'll see here you've got to create a configuration file. So let's just click that. And now it'll run us through a process of setting up this creation file. And it says welcome, and says how the information you're going to need is a database name, a database username, a database password, database host, and a table prefix. But you only need that table prefix if you want to run more than one WordPress account with this installation, which I'm guessing most of you don't, and that's not what I'm trying to cover in this installation. That's not what I'm trying to cover in this video, so I'm not going to worry about that step. So we're going to need all the database details. Like I said here, if this doesn't work at all for any reason, you can edit the file yourself and then upload it. Okay, so let's click Let's Go. And now we need to enter a database name, username for the database, and then the MySQL password. Now, the database host, this will most likely be localhost. And if you're using HostGator, it is localhost. But if for some reason this doesn't work, contact your website hosting company and ask them what the database host name is for installing something like WordPress. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is quickly create a database and a MySQL database and a MySQL user to put these details in. So what you need to do now is type in yoursite.com followed by /cpanel and then log into cpanel. And we want to scroll down until you see the databases section, which is right here. And now we want to click MySQL databases. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is to create a new database. So this will be a new database is Scott C _, and because this is for WordPress, I'm going to put in WP3 because it's WordPress 3. And now I'm going to click Create Database. I like to name them so that they resemble the application they're for. So create that database. You can type in any name you want there. And it just says here that that database was created. So it's your cpanel username followed by _ whatever you entered. So I'm going to go back now. And now we want to create a user or a MySQL user. So scroll down until you see this section here that says MySQL users. And we want to add a new user. So under username, type in the new user name. What I do here is I type in the same name as the database. This makes it easier when you're entering the details later. Now the password, because this is password you don't have to remember and it's actually saved by WordPress, I'm going to use the password generator. So I'm just going to click that because that way it's a really strong password. I'm going to right click it and select copy. This way I don't have to write it down. I can just copy it straight into the setup and tick you've copied it to a safe place and use password. And now click create user. And it'll say it's added the user WP3. Now I'll go back. The last thing to do now is to give that user we just created access to the database we just created. So now just scroll down to right to the bottom of the page. And under here where it says add user to database, for the user, select from the drop-down menu, the one we just made, which is WP3, is the one I just made. So I want to select that. And you can see the user is Scott C _ WP3. Now for the database, you want to select WP3 as well, or whatever you called it. Now click add. Now you'll have to set the privileges this user has over that database. Because this is for WordPress, I'm going to click all privileges and make changes. This will make sure WordPress has full access to this database. So that's done. Now I'm going to click go back again. And I'm also going to come back to this setup wizard. And the database name was Scott C _ WP3. So enter whatever yours was. The username was the same, Scott C _ WP3. Now the password, remember I copied this, and if you do too, you can just right click, paste it here. So then you don't have to remember the password. And these last two you should be able to just leave. So now click submit, and let's see what happens. Okay, so now that was good, it worked fine. So now click run the install. Okay, so that's working. So now we want to enter the details for our site here. Okay, so if this didn't work for you at all, in a few minutes I'll show you how to do it the second way, which is by editing the config file yourself. But I'll just quickly run through this setup here. So first, just enter your site title. So whatever the name of your site is. Don't worry too much about all these because you can change them later once you get into the admin side of WordPress. Username I'm going to leave as admin, but enter whatever you want. Password. Enter a strong password. Make sure it says strong there. I'm not too worried now because I'm going to uninstall this in a minute anyway. And enter your email. And you can tick this to allow your site to appear in search engines. But I'm going to untick that because I don't want this site being sent to the search engines automatically because I'm actually uninstalling this. So I'm going to leave that unticked, but for you, you'd want to leave that ticked if you want search engines to be notified about your website. Now I'm going to click install WordPress. Okay, so that's a success. And login details for the admin side, admin, which was the username I entered or left there, and the password I chose. So now I'm going to log in, and this will be the login section for WordPress. So I'm going to put in admin and the password and log in. So this is the admin side of WordPress. And you can learn how to use the admin side a lot better by going through the rest of the tutorials on my site, which you'll find on the left here. And you can also find them under creating and then WordPress. If you want to request a new tutorial and you want to know how to do something with WordPress, you can scroll to the bottom of any page and click request a new video tutorial. Okay, so let's just have a quick look at our site. So if I remove that WP admin there and go to mysite.com/blog, this is what it's going to look like with the fresh installation, which is pretty plain at the moment. But after you've gone through the rest of the tutorials on my site, you'll have this looking a lot better and there'll be a lot more to it. Okay, now if that installation process didn't work in the step before and you need to configure the file yourself, it's very easy. All you do is come back to the installation files on the desktop, and what you want to do is locate this wp-sample.php file. I'm going to copy that, close this folder, and I'm going to paste this to the desktop just so it's easier to see and I know what I'm working with. So make sure that's wp-config-sample. So right click that and click open. And I want to select program from the list to open with. So you want to choose what you want to open the file with. and I'm just going to select WordPad and click OK. If you've got Dreamweaver or something installed, or a web application or a website designing application on your computer, that'll automatically open that file for you. But if you don't, just open it in WordPress. You can also open WordPress first and then click Open, change this to all documents, go to the desktop, and then the file will be there, so you can open it that way as well. Okay, so what we need to do here, you'll see the MySQL settings here. You need to enter the database name, and you'll see it says database name here, so that's where you enter it. You need to enter the username, password, and host name. Now remember, I said before, you don't need to change these other details because it should be localhost, and if it's not, you'll have to contact your website hosting company to find out what that is. But for now, we just wanted to change these details. So if you remember from before, our details were the cPanel username, and then WP3 was what I had. Now make sure you leave these apostrophes before and after it, so don't delete those. Now change where it says username here. The username for the database was, again, ScottC_WP3 as well. And the password you would enter here. So you delete where it says password and put in your password. But as I copied this file, I no longer have the password copied to paste. But if I was doing it this way, instead of installing it the other way, I would have just pasted the password straight to here instead. But you'd put your password there and then leave the rest of that. And now you need to scroll down and see this section here where it says authentication keys and salts. So you need to put in a unique phrase here. Now, don't worry, this is actually quite easy, because if you look here, there's a link just here. So what you want to do is select this link, right click, copy. Now come in back to your internet browser, and then paste this in the address bar and press enter or search. And this will generate the keys for you. So all you do now is copy all these. So copy those, minimize this again, come back to the document, and we just replace these. So select all of them, make sure they're all selected, then right click and click paste. And you'll see all that did was put in all those phrases for us. So you don't need to enter those in yourself. That's all you need to do. So all you had to do for that section was go to the link that it says in the description just here and copy those codes across. And that's all you need to do here. So all I do now is click File, Save. So now that's saved. So minimize that. And what we need to do now, we'll actually close this because we saved it. Now we need to rename this and get rid of the sample. So highlight the dash sample, and you want it to be named WP-config. So once you've renamed that, all you do now is come into your FTP client again. And then what you would do is on your computer side, you would locate the desktop again. And you'll see that there's that file you just edited, which will be wp-config.php. And you want to drag that across and upload it to wherever your WordPress installation files are. If it asks you to override a file, just agree with it. I'm not going to upload that because I've installed WordPress already and it's installed successfully. But if that installation process I showed first didn't work, you just upload that to your directory, come back to your website, type in wherever you installed WordPress to, or upload the files to. So it'd be yoursite.com, followed by / wherever the directory was, or leave it at yoursite.com if you upload your file straight to yoursite.com. And then when you've typed in the location, follow it by, if you come back to the README, you want to follow it by the same address as before, which is wp-admin / install.php. So we'd be at wherever we put the files to, followed by / wp-admin / again install.php. So once you go to that, it'll then install WordPress. And that's how you install WordPress manually.